This is the Puck Junk Podcast.
Hello and welcome to the Puck Junk Hockey Podcast. I'm Sal Berry, and with me is Tim Parish. And today we're going to do a Setrospective on the 1985-86 Topps and O-Pee-Chee Hockey card sets, hence the name Setrospective. We're also going to talk about an upcoming major card show, a new hockey movie that's coming out, and a couple other things. I think maybe just one other thing. But, so that's what's on the agenda for today. So, Tim, how are you doing?
I'm all right. Just preparing for the zombie apocalypse. So, getting all my things in order.
Oh, that's
my
good.
Affairs.
Getting all the things in order.
Getting all my affairs in order. And,
the zombie apocalypse.
Yeah, it's coming.
Yeah. It's not going to be global warming.
No, we're just, what year is this? 2026?
2026.
I'm going to say by 2030, we're all going to be fighting each other in the streets, and there's going to be dead walking the earth. So it's going to be Walking Dead. It's going to be like the TV show.
Never watched it.
Well, you should probably get caught up while you have the chance. You have 4 years based on my prediction.
Read one issue of the comic, and that was it.
Okay, you have 4 years based on my prediction, so better get caught up.
I did play a lot of Resident Evil back in the PlayStation 1 days. Does that count as training?
Possibly.
Possibly.
I just know that you have to ride a motorcycle, carry a shovel, and a bat with barbed wire around it. So if you have those things, you're good.
No, you know what I did see was Shaun of the Dead.
Oh, there you go. You're perfect. Yeah. Perfect.
I need a cricket bat, and I need albums, and I have a lot of records in the basement that aren't mine. I just inherited them. Like when a family member would pass, I'd end up with their records, and so I got a lot of records that I don't listen to, obviously. So
perfect.
Yeah, so I could just throw those, and So anyway, no, that's cool. It's been an interesting week with the NHL coming back. I'm not going to really get into the controversy with the U.S. men's team, but that's been, exactly. But I think that like just watching hockey, like just NHL hockey, now obviously Olympic hockey is like better players for the most part. But look at like who Austin Matthews played with on Team USA versus who he plays with the Maple Leafs. Well, he's got William Nylander, but it's also.
Well, I will say this from the standpoint of going from watching Olympic hockey to coming back to the NHL.
Yeah,
like I watched all the Penguin games since they've been back, and just watching those games, it's like they're going in slow motion. Because the Olympic games, even the ones not involving Team USA and Team Canada, were still like super fast.
Yeah. And
the NHL teams, it's like, okay, what's going on?
The one thing, and this is not an original thought, I'm just parroting what other people have said, although I've observed this for, decades, is like when you have international teams and maybe they have half the guys who are NHL players and the other half are not NHL players. But those other half who are not NHL players, a lot of times they play together. Like they either play together on their clubs that they normally play with, or they've played together a lot on the international teams. So even though they might not have the same skill level, they know how to work together and play together like a team versus basically taking an all-star team and throwing them together. And, we've seen over time how Hockey Canada and USA Hockey have gotten better and better at like crafting a team and not just saying, well, we're going to pick the 20 best American players. We're going to pick the 20 best Canadian players. And they're just going to magically come together as a team in a 2-week Olympic tournament, right? Like we didn't see that work out too well in 1998, but we've seen it work, work out better now because they've done, training, like kind of like preseason training camp type things and stuff. So Yeah.
And that's always the concern when you're the GM trying to build a team. Who do you pick? And inevitably there's going to be guys that are left off the list that some people would put on their team, some people wouldn't. It just depends. So it's like you roll the dice with what you got. And, if you win a medal, then it worked. If you don't win a medal, then it didn't. So, but yeah, just seeing the NHL back, I'm glad it's back. I enjoy, watching hockey, and I don't think I've ever noticed it this drastic of a difference between going from the Olympics to back to the NHL, where everything just slows down. And it's like, wow, you take for granted that you see it, and then you see this, and then you go back to that, and you're just like, oh. And I did say granted because I like saying that.
Here's what's on the agenda for today. So the new Youngblood movie is coming out March 6th. A reimagining of the 1986 cult classic Youngblood. Can we call it a cult classic? I would like to call it a cult classic. Because, to make something a cult classic, it's got to have a cult following. And I feel like a lot of movies like Youngblood, Slapshot too, maybe to a lesser extent, although I think that's a little more mainstream success. But anyways, so the new Youngblood movie's coming out March 6th. I want to talk about an easy way to buy sports cards from me and Tim, because we have signed up for this new online, new-ish, not really new, but this website called Buy Sports Cards, which I've really taken a liking to in the past couple of weeks. So we'll talk more about that. The upcoming Chicago Sports Spectacular, and then our Setrospective of 1985-86, Topps and O-Pee-Chee. New Youngblood movie in theaters March 6th. So, movie was originally, this new Youngblood movie, it is coming out at the end of the week. It made its debut at the Toronto International Film Festival back in September of 25. I guess it was impressive enough that the NHL got involved, and they've been supporting this movie. They even, some of the teams actually, I don't want to really say too much, but some of the teams got involved somehow with the film. Actually, they kind of spoiled it when they told me about it. I've been talking to their PR people, but that's okay. It didn't really spoil the ending. They just said, oh, well, there's some blah, blah scenes that we added to the film. Okay, cool. That's cool. So the NHL is a little bit involved in this, which is fine. Let's see. It's directed by Hubert Davis, who also directed Black Ice, which won top documentary honors at the 2022 Toronto International Film Festival. If you haven't seen it, Black Ice is a documentary about Black players in the National Hockey League. They also talk about the Colored Hockey League that played in Canada from 1895 to about 1925. So that was a really cool documentary. As far as this new Youngblood film, it reimagines the 86 movie. It doesn't really follow it like beat for beat, point for point. I mean, there is a Dean Youngblood. There's a Carl Racky. I'm assuming that guy with the curly hair and the captaincy is meant to be, I know he's Derek Sutton, because they also mentioned that Derek Sutton's in the film. So it seems like they're using a lot of the same names, like Coach Chadwick. They're changing Youngblood's character a little bit. Instead of making him like a total wimp, like Rob Lowe's character, this version of Youngblood has like some anger, some like latent internal anger issues that is actually getting him into trouble. So even though he's getting picked on, he's fighting back, but it's kind of not helping out his wanting to make it to the NHL. So I don't know. I thought it's cool. I'm excited for two reasons. One, I love the old Youngblood movie. So a remake, that's fine. I'm down for it. And then the other thing is that we don't get hockey movies that much. I mean, the only hockey stuff we get are either an Amazon documentary, lots of documentaries, but like, which don't really count because those are documentaries. I'm talking about like movies or TV. We get a movie every now and then, and we got Shoresy, which has been, consistently great. I finished watching the 5th season.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's it. Like we don't get hockey.
The speech at the end is the best.
The speech at the end.
Yep. About hockey culture.
Oh, yeah.
Great.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah. So Youngblood's coming out. If you're watching the video of this podcast, here's a couple of stills from the film. So it looks pretty good. Well, the first thing I noticed is that the junior players actually look like their junior player age. Like,
you don't like to have 35-year-olds play 18-year-olds?
I mean, I loved Patrick Swayze in Youngblood and, just Swayze in general, right? But yeah, I mean, everybody just looked like they're supposed to be junior players, and like all those, like some of the guys were like junior players anyway who were like in the film, or they were like recent NHL draft picks like Steve Thomas and Peter Zezel. But yeah, I mean, they look kind of old. So here I'm noticing that they look a little like more like they're in that kind of like 17 to 19 age range, or maybe 16 to 19 age range. So I appreciate that. And then, if you're watching the video, here's a QR code that you could scan and watch the trailer on your phone. I'll also put a link to it. Either the video make the video clickable, or put a link somewhere in the comments or something so you could easily find the trailer. You could just go on YouTube and
yeah, I was going to say, if you're on your phone watching this, you probably won't be able to scan that.
No. But people, no, actually, like some of our viewers, I should say now, have been watching this on their desktop or laptop computer while like sorting cards or doing similar type of stuff. Because it's not like it's not like this is the kind of thing that you constantly need to be watching it. You know what I mean? It's almost like a football game, right? You could be sorting cards and then you hear something, you look up, oh, look what happened, and then you go back down to what you're doing, right?
Yeah, nobody needs to watch me just sit here.
Right.
Nobody needs to listen to me either, for that matter. But
well, they choose to. Yeah.
Yeah, I watched the trailer. I don't know if I'm all in on this. I'm just tired of Hollywood remakes.
That's understandable. I mean, it's
people talk about superhero burnout. I'm remake burnout.
Well, there's not an original idea anymore.
No, there isn't. And you keep taking these movies that are, for lack of a better word, like iconic. Not that Youngblood is iconic, but to hockey fans it is. And then you make it different. I mean, the whole premise of Youngblood in the first place was like he's a high skilled player, and he has to learn how to defend himself.
Right.
As he goes out there and scores the goals and does the razzle dazzle, and then hides behind these other players and let them do the fighting. And it's like you gotta bring the rest of the game along with it. So, and this makes it seem like he's the goon, and he's got to try to figure out how to fit that into the scope of whatever's going on. So I don't know.
No, I understand. One thing I didn't like about Youngblood is that it wasn't just that he didn't know how to fight. It was that like none of his teammates would stick up for him. And I get it. Yeah. He was like the new guy, but it's like he goes out and scores a goal or 2 goals or sets up Sutton for a goal or whatever. And then it's like somebody wants to hit him. And it's like, there's older guys on the team who've been on the team longer. You think they'd stand up for him a little bit. And then even like when Sutton gets hospitalized and Dean visits him, and then he says like, well, did you get him back for me or something? And Dean's like, yeah. And then Sutton's like, yeah, sure you did. Right. Like, and I'm thinking, dude, you expect this guy to like, go after Racky after he like, knocks you out cold, and like, where were the other guys? You know what I mean? Like, it's, I don't know.
Well, they obviously have to climax the storyline at that point.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's got to be the fight, right?
Of course.
A playoff fight or whatever between Dean and Racky, and then I don't know. It didn't look like Miss McGill was in the trailer.
No tea with Miss McGill's scene. So, from what I understand, this
suppose
film,
that's not PC anymore.
No, they're kind of aiming more for like a PG rating, not necessarily a PC rating, but a PG rating. Anyway.
Yeah. Oh, we'll see. I mean, it's being released at theaters. I don't know if it's a major, like all theaters, but see how it does.
Yeah, well, I'm optimistic because I like hockey and I like hockey movies, so I'm hoping this one succeeds. I'm not necessarily angling for a sequel, but I'd like to see more hockey movies. I mean, you could fill a book with baseball movies and football movies, but not really hockey movies that much.
I'm waiting for the Love Guru Part 2.
Oh my God! Why did you do that? Why did you do that?
Would you prefer Love Guru Part 3?
Well, if that means there's no Part 2, but there's always a Part 2 if there's a Part 3. Except for Leonard Part 6. That just was Part 6. But, yeah, no.
Part 6. Was that Bill Cosby?
Bill Cosby. Sorry. He's been canceled. I can't talk about him. We shouldn't talk about him. Yeah, no, it was supposed to be like an action comedy movie, but it was just bad. So
isn't he like a secret agent or something?
Yeah. Yeah, with like gadgets.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
one of them was knockout gas. I'm just kidding. Anyway, moving on.
All right, so an easy way to buy sports cards from Puck Junk and the Real DFG. So there's this website called buysportscards.com, and it does exactly what you would expect it to do. It's a website to buy and sell sports cards. And if I could describe this, it's basically like a way upgraded version of Sport Lots. Would you agree with that assessment? Like a supercharged version of Sport Lots.
Yeah, it's definitely a cleaner interface for sure. It's easier to search. So
I mean, like recently, I think like a year ago, Sport Lots finally started adding thumbnail images for like cards. Like, because I remember where like, and especially like if it said like 1985 Steve Yzerman, it's like, wait, do you mean the 84-85 or the 85-86? It would just say 85 and there'd be no picture, but it would give the card number. So then I have to open up a checklist and like a separate tab and then cross-reference. You know what I mean? It was just messy, right? So this website, and I know here I'm not showing the greatest screenshot of it, but you can check it out at buysportscards.com. It's easy to buy from. It's easy to sell with. And I have quietly been adding cards to this website since the end of December. And I made a few sales here and there, but I didn't really promote that I was adding cards to this site until last week because I finally got 5,000 cards listed. Like, I didn't want to list like 50 cards and say, hey, see what cards I have for sale at Buy Sports Cards, because chances are most people are not going to need whatever 50 cards I listed. So I waited until I got to 5,000 cards, and now I've been pushing it, promoting it, telling people about it, So, anyway, so buysportscards.com, they have over 30 million sports cards in stock. Cards are as low as 25 cents each. I mean, they could go upwards of, somebody has a Gretzky rookie listed for, I think, $1,400. So, anywhere from a quarter to $1,000 or more. You buy directly from the sellers, so there's really no long wait time. So again, this is like the Sport Lot model where you're buying from, you try to buy a bunch of cards, or at least 1 to 4 cards from one person, versus check out my cards where people ship the cards. And yeah, you got like maybe more options, but then you're also going to wait for them to send your cards to you. By the way, I'll bring that up in a minute. Something about ComC, but tracked shipping for as low as 99 cents on Buy Sport cards. So I feel like it's got a lot of upside. There's cheap shipping, cheap cards, nice interface, easy to search. I like it. But what I wanted to say was I finally requested shipping for my check out my cart order. And I did that yesterday. So I did that on March 1st. And I'm going to get my
have
cart.
something to open at the National.
What's that?
I said you'll probably have something to open at the National then.
Yeah. What do you mean open? Oh, my box of cards.
Your box
right.
that gets sent to you. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's when it's coming.
Yeah. Well, it is going to actually, you're not far off.
Oh, I know.
It's actually the estimated ship date is 6/15 and the estimated arrival date is 6/23. And there are 1,102,402 cards items ahead of my order. So it's going to take from March 1st. So all of March, all of April, all of May, and half of June.
So the last, well, I had 3 orders that I placed back to back to back, if you want to call it that.
Okay.
Each month. I ordered some October 25th. They were shipped January 7th. And I didn't get it. I got them on the 13th. So once they shipped, I got them pretty quick.
Right.
But yeah, I ordered those October 25th. I placed an order November 29th. That showed up here on Valentine's Day.
Wow.
And I placed a third order. When was that? December 13th. And it says it's not going to ship until March 13th.
Mm-hmm.
But the last I looked, there was like 170,000 cards in front of me still. So.
Well,
yeah.
And I know we've talked about this before, but I think
nuts.
part of the problem with Check Out My Cards is that they're more popular than what they can keep up with.
Yeah, and it doesn't help that you trimmed staff down and you changed facilities. You got a new location. You've moved inventory. You don't have the ability to handle the shipping that's already going out, not to mention the orders coming in. You're showing up to every card show around the country and still taking in bulk orders from people. So it's like it doesn't seem to be scaling right.
Right, right, yeah.
It's picked up a little bit, but they got work to do. That's all I know. I'm sticking with them. I mean, because they've been around forever and I use them for everything. But, more to the point of what we've been talking about with BSC. Look, the thing with BSC and with any selling platform is for a seller, what are the fees? Well, there aren't any. There's 0 seller fees, right? So they're not charging you anything extra or any of that kind of stuff. And it's pretty simple to list. They have a bulk listing. They have an individual listing. Most every card is on there. If you have really weird stuff or like promo items or like one-off things like stuff from Panini Father's Day or Player of the Day things or maybe some of the national packs that you got, VIP packs. Some of that might not be on there, but most of the major releases, they're all there. And it's just a matter of clicking your price and hitting the button. That's it. All the shipping is built in just like eBay, so you can print your labels and all of that kind of stuff. The thing that I like about it is there is seller protection. So
yeah,
sales are final. So no returns or refunds are forced on the sellers for people that have buyer's remorse or their 3-year-old ordered a Gretzky rookie card by accident when they weren't looking and grabbed their phone. And you can do offers and stuff like that, which are all pre-authorized on there. So buyers immediately get charged if you accept the offer. So, which is nice.
Right.
And it's easy to list, like I said. So, I mean, there's rules for certain things, and there's minimum prices, and if something's damaged and all of that kind of stuff, then you obviously go through the right channels to do returns and all of that kind of stuff. But it's been pretty simple. Just like you, I've made a bunch of sales. I've been on there way longer than I've actually been selling. Like I joined up when I first heard about it, like well over a year or so ago.
Mm-hmm.
But I never went live with my store. But then I finally, over the last couple months, have been loading a bunch of stuff on there, and
I kind of talked you into it, didn't I? Like,
because it was on there, and I'd look at it occasionally, but I never really did anything with it. When you started talking about it, I'm like, you know what? Maybe I should raise that one from the dead and bring it back. So I did. I had to basically delete my entire inventory because almost everything I had on there, I had sent to COPC at one point or another. So I had to redo the whole thing. But
yeah, I mean, I was this close to signing up. I mean, I have a Sport Lots account, but I was going to sell on the site. And when I started reading up on their fees, and I don't mind paying fees, and BSC they're charging the payment processing fee. They're not charging seller fees. And when I saw that, I emailed them. I actually emailed them a bunch of questions before I signed up to use their site. And I said, well, wait, how do you make money if you're not charging fees? And they said, we're paying for this out of pocket. We want this to get successful. And then once we have enough people using it, then we'll start charging fees. But we promise it's going to be less than what eBay charges. And I'm thinking eBay's at like 10%, 12%. And eBay is like, my problem with eBay isn't even the fees. It's just that it doesn't, like, it's good if you're selling one expensive card, but if you have just a lot of cards to sell, it's like a lot of cards from the same set. It's a chore to list the cards. It's a chore to buy from the dealer, like, especially like when it'll say like, complete your 1819 O-Pee-Chee set, and you got to click the drop down, and you're like, oh, I need card number 5. That's 99 cents. I need card number 20. That's 99 cents. Oh, if I buy 10 or more, I get 50% off. Oh, they don't have card number 58, which I need. You know what I mean? And it's very like, I don't know. It's tedious. I've done that. I've bought singles on eBay, like when somebody had like a bunch of cards that I needed, or even a handful of cards that I needed to finish a set. Whereas if you go to something like COMC, need this one, need this one, need this one, need this one. Okay, I'm paying $1.49 for a common, not an EPAC exclusive, but just a common card, and then I'm going to wait 6 months to get it. And this site, I feel like if they, when they do charge fees, and if it's less than eBay, like they say, I'll stick around. But Sport Lots, they charge you like 75%. Like if you make up to $5 in sales, they take 75% of that. And then if you make
sliding scale on there, so
right. So then if you make like $20 in sales, then they take 50% of that. But then I'm thinking, okay, $20 in sales. Let's say that I sell, 100 cards, 20 cents each, right? So 10 would be $2, so 100 would be $20. Okay. But then I'm only making 10 cents a card. But then I'm also paying like any processing fees. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like it just didn't make sense to me. Like it wouldn't be like, oh, I made a $3 sale. It's like, well, that $3 sale is actually a 75-cent sale.
Yeah. And I mean, it's just like any other site that's newer. I mean, yeah, they don't have the eyeballs, so you're probably not going to make a sale every day or every couple days, or you might not even make a sale every week. But,
right.
It's a place you can get stuff out there. You're not incurring a ton of fees. And, if they get to the point where they've got a ton on there, well, maybe they will start charging fees. But until then, I mean, it's fine. I'm good with it.
See, I don't even mind eBay fees. My problem now is well, first of all, it doesn't make sense to sell low-end cards on eBay. But then with the high-end cards, I mean, okay, now they have that authentication guarantee. But I mean, I've heard horror stories of people sending a high-end card and then the buyer saying, "Oh, it came damaged," or "item not as described," or whatever. And I know eBay has put in steps to ensure that.
Happened to us.
Yeah.
But we luckily came out on the right side of history on that one.
Well, because
some people haven't been the same.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, though, is that I just don't want to deal with that hassle, right? Like, if I'm going to sell a $100 card, I'll just take it to a show and sell it.
Yeah.
And I'll enjoy that experience more than having to take pictures, having to list it, hoping it sells, getting lowball offers, it not selling, me relisting it, it's selling. I have to pack it, I have to ship it, and then whatever. I just, yeah, I'm not. I mean, I don't know. Look, there's good and bad with everything. That's all I'm saying. But
that is true.
So as far as buy sports cards go, so far it's been a really good experience for me. So I'm going to link to my storefront. I'm going to link to Tim's storefront. And if you're watching this and you have your phone, you could scan those QR codes. Or if you just want to click, I'll have links that you could click on. If you want to check out, sorry, I almost caught myself there. If you want to buy cards from either of us or look at our cards.
Well, you can check them out too, but
yeah, preferably check out, like, check out and pay, right? Yes. Not just look at, but, yeah. So like I said, so far it's been a good experience and I recommend it. And if you want to sell on that site, it'll probably take you a week to get set up. Like you have to verify, certain information with them and set up a bank account with them for, so you can receive payments. So it's not something you could just list on right away. It'll take you a couple of days from the time you register for an account to the time when you can actually start listing cards. But I'm glad I did it. I did it over December, when I had a lot of downtime or, after Christmas. And then, like I said, I've been slowly listing cards. I'm at around 5,000 cards now. Tim, I think you got about 3,000, 4,000 cards listed?
Roughly. I had stuff every week. So
yeah. So hopefully the cards that we have can help out your collections.
You'll be shocked to know that most of the stuff I have listed is not hockey cards, surprisingly.
Yeah, I got some non-hockey listed as well, but because
I have nowhere else to get rid of all this other crap. So that's
right. I know. Yeah, I mean, I guess the only thing that kind of sucks is that, like, the minimum price is $0.25. There are cards I would literally list at 10 cents because I'm just like, man, nobody wants these 91, 92 Pro set cards for $0.25. I mean, I guess I would if I needed to finish a set. You know what I mean? Like, but I feel like some of them, like, $0.25 too much. And other ones, $0.25 fine. And, you could go any price. Oh, if it's more than 20 though, then you have to, if it's more than 10 or more than 20, you have to provide images.
More than 15.
More than 15. Thank you.
Yeah.
Or if it's numbered.
More than 15 or if it's numbered less than 25.
Less than 25, right. Usually anything that's serial numbered, I scan and put up pictures of. So
yeah, and I was doing that also. I haven't gone dumpster diving for the 10 centers. Most of mine is, even common but not common. Stars and stuff like that. Quarter. It's like the world's largest quarter box. Really.
Yeah. And what I've been doing is I've been working backwards. I've been starting with my 25, 26 extras and then moving backwards 24, 25, 23, 24, just going back, right? So I'm back to about 1920, 2021. But then I've been finding like just random like stacks of cards. I'm saying, oh, I got all these extra 91, 92 Skybox basketball. I'll list those. And then like when we had the Olympics, I had a whole bunch of extras from the 1983 Greatest Olympians. And so I listed those because it was a good time to list those cards, and actually sold a few. So that's good. And yeah, and then I've just been, I got all these 15, 16 cards that are already in order. Might as well just list them, because they're already in order. So I'm kind of going backwards from current to back. Don't think I really have listed any 90s hockey yet.
It's interesting. I took a different strategy. When I was doing hockey, I was doing them by teams. And then I was like, you know what? All my sales haven't really been hockey sales, so I need to list other stuff. So over the weekend, I put up like 700 baseball cards.
700?
Uh-huh.
We can't say that anymore. It's not cool. It was not cool once we started saying it.
I'm definitely going to say it then.
Yeah.
I listed 600 or 700 rad baseball cards.
Let's talk about the Chicago Sports Spectacular coming up in March. So March and March. So the March 2026 Chicago Sports Spectacular, Friday, March 13th to Sunday, March 15th. I will be there. I'll have my usual booth space, booth number 40. I'll be set up right next to Vintage Graphs, my friend Steve. So we set up together at the March and November shows, and I'll be on the other side of those people that have all those sports jerseys, the huge, I call them the Jersey people. And actually the owner of the company is from New Jersey, but the two people who help them are from Chicago. So, and they're great people. So I like being their neighbors at the show. Been doing this show since 2019. Arguably the second largest sports memorabilia show in the world. I mean, maybe the White Plains show is as big or bigger, but I like to say it's second to the National. Over 200 dealers and over 400 tables of sports cards and memorabilia, including hockey cards. And there's going to be 3 hockey autograph guests, which I still think is a pretty weak showing. But there's going to be
3 times what it was at the National.
3 times what it was last time. So we're going to have Mike Modano, who's going to be signing for $59 and up, like $59 for I think flats up to 11 by 14. Ed Belfour for $69 and Eric Lindros for $99 and up. So Belfour $69 and up, Lindros $99 and up, all signing on Saturday. So yeah,
that's really not that much for Hall of Fame autographs.
No.
Especially when you compare them to other sport Hall of Famers.
Oh, you're absolutely right about that. But I look at Modano and I go, yeah, okay. That's, I don't know. I mean, because Grant Fuhr was like $40-$50. So I don't know. I mean, I get it. Everybody's going to charge a different price, and it's how much the player charges for their fee and whatnot. I would like a Modano autograph. I have Ed Belfour. I have enough Ed Belfour autographs for a while. Meaning, I think I got all his rookie cards signed. I have his 88-89 Saginaw Hawks card signed, and I have his 88-89 Black Hawk team issue card signed. Those tall cards with the Coca-Cola logo at the bottom.
Yeah.
And then I think, and then I have like this 90, 91 rookies. And then I think I would like to maybe get like his Skybox Metal Universe card signed. Although I might have that one. Yeah, I think I have Chelios's card signed, and I wanted to get Belfour and Roenick to sign their Skybox Metal Universe cards in like silver paint pen. Looks awesome. I remember talking to one hockey collector. This was actually at a Blackhawk convention, but he was like focusing on that set. So like Bernie Nichols was there, and he got Bernie Nichols to sign his Skybox Metal Universe. And like, oh, okay, that's cool. That was like his project, right? So, but I think if I was going to get an autograph from Lindros, I'd have to get the Score rookie card signed. I mean,
well, I know Modano signs a lot. Belfour signed a lot for a while at a lot of the Chicago shows and stuff. And then you didn't see him for a little while, and then he's been back at a lot of shows again.
Mm-hmm.
Lindros I almost never saw except at like major major shows.
Mm-hmm.
There was a whole period of time where I don't know if he was signing at all. But I mean, I don't mind those prices for those guys, to be honest. I don't think they're ridiculous.
No, I suppose not. I just I think like I don't think I have a Mike Modano autograph. I might have I might have something that was from like a pack, like a certified autograph.
Pack pulled, yeah.
Pack pulled, but I don't think I have any cards signed. Like I did write him a letter one time and I got the cards back really quick. And there was a rumor on like Sports Card Forum that they were fake. Like whoever was answering his mail wasn't him and they were just signing the cards and throwing them back in the mail. Like maybe it was his wife or somebody. I don't know. So like I do have some Modano autographs, but I don't know. I honestly don't know if they're real or not.
I don't have any of them in person. All mine are pack pulled.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and Lindros, I don't think I ever got his autograph. Oh no, actually, I got his autograph exactly one time. Before he got drafted, he was at the 91 All-Star game. He was just taking in the game as just a spectator. I mean, obviously, he was going to be the number 1 overall pick. So he was kind of a VIP at 17. And he was, during intermission, I saw him and I got him to sign the back of my ticket stub. So
interesting to compare that signature with how he signs now.
Well, he was standing and it was with ballpoint pen and it's probably not that great of an autograph. But when you're like 16 years old, it's like a pretty big deal to get like an autograph from like the presumptive first overall pick. So,
yeah, I'd say so.
So I'll be there. I'll be selling hockey cards. I'll be selling some other sports memorabilia, and I will be selling my Puck Junk Hockey t-shirts that look like wrappers. You can see in the picture here, I got some of them, some of what I have available. I will have, I'll have some other stuff there too. Probably some bobbleheads and some other things. I'm not really a bobblehead collector, but I've accumulated quite a few of them over the years. So I'm like starting to like thin out my collection of bobbleheads and, just extra stuff. Dude, you collect for a long time, you just end up with stuff. And then sometimes people
ain't that the truth.
And then sometimes people just give you stuff. Here, take this hockey stuff. And you're like, thank you. But then you're like, and when you're like 15, you're like, thank you. And that like doubles your collection. But when you're like 50, it's like, oh, thank you. What am I going to do with this? But thank you. You know what I mean? Like,
that's how I was with Kiss stuff for a while.
Kiss?
Yeah.
The band?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I always liked Kiss growing up.
Okay.
So people would give me Kiss stuff.
Okay. All right.
It got ridiculous. And then other people would be like, hey, you collect Kiss stuff. Here, take this. So I'd be like,
Are you going to be at the Chicago Sports Spectacular? You coming?
I might make an appearance on Saturday, I think.
Okay.
Not 100%. I might be 97%.
Okay. I hope, obviously I hope to see you there because, the only time we really get to hang out is at shows. So, it'd be fun if you could make it, of course. And of course, you can go and buy stuff, that's what you're into,
I do like buying things.
Yeah. So, all right. That said, hope you could make it to the Chicago Sports Spectacular. You could go to their website at chicagosportspectacular.com for more details. And like I said, I will be at booth number 40. If you subscribe to the newsletter, I will be sure to put out a little map that I usually send out that shows people exactly where my booth is. And I think one time somebody came up to me and they said, I actually followed the map that you included in the newsletter and it led me right to your booth. So like a little treasure map, X, right? Or Puck marks the spot. So, 85-86 Topps and O-Pee-Chee Hockey Card Setrospective. So, I will admit two things. One, yes, we're always going to hit an anniversary year of something because that's just what happens. That's what Topps does all the time. Topps is always celebrating with their baseball, and I guess now their basketball. They're always celebrating. It's the 35th anniversary of the 87 set and the 30th anniversary of the 92 set and the 40th right? Like they're always, and then using that as an excuse to do retro styled cards. And I guess that's okay. That works for them. I think, obviously we like round numbers. We did 75-76 as per the request of one of our listeners, and that was a pretty well-received episode. So it only made sense to also do 85-86 since it's the 40th anniversary. We did do this as a topic about 6 years ago. It was I think it was a little over 6 years ago. So, we might say some of the same things and, or maybe you forgot what we said back then, or maybe we forgot what we said back then, but I'll try not to repeat ourselves.
Oh, I guarantee I forgot what I said.
Yeah.
I forget what I say 5 minutes after the fact.
Yeah. So just a quick rundown on these sets. So 85-86 Topps Hockey had 165 cards, same as 84-85. So you recall they didn't do sets in 82-83 or 83-84. They did do sticker albums those years. 84-85, they come back with a 165 card set. Like they're just dipping their toe in the water. Like, should we do hockey cards again? Maybe. Okay, we'll do a small set of 165 cards. Then in 85-86, they follow it up with another 165 card set. What is annoying about this set is that there's 66 cards that are short printed. There's 99 cards that are double printed and then 66 cards that are, I guess you could say, single printed because of the way they do their sheets, 132 cards. So they probably did the same 99 cards on sheet A and sheet B, and then 33 cards on sheet A, and then the other 33 cards on sheet B, because it's easier to find, definitely easier to find some cards than other cards. It's easier to find a Mario Lemieux rookie card than a Doug Bodger rookie card. Although it's all, that's not a bad thing.
Yeah, only because one is in a display case and the other is in a dime box somewhere.
Right, but in that same dime box, I mean, there's also 30 Phil Russell cards. So I guess what I'm saying is that some of the cards were printed a lot more than other cards. So it's a frustrating set to put together. But anyway, so 165 cards, 33 stickers, 16 box bottom cards. We'll talk more about the stickers and the box bottom cards later. O-Pee-Chee Hockey set, 264 cards. Now, the first 165 cards are the same as Topps, although the checklist is altered a little bit since it had to have 132 cards on it instead of 165 cards. And it's 132 cards less than the 84-85 set because, I don't know, O-Pee-Chee just started making their sets smaller that year. I think that was kind of unfortunate. You had that 10 or 11 year span where it's 396 cards.
Yeah. I mean, there's rumors that have gone around for years about what the reasoning and everything was behind it, but the predominant story that people tell is that the previous year, 84-85, was so overproduced to the point that they couldn't sell through the stock directly, nor could their dealers.
Right.
So in 85-86, they decided to make it more of a bare bones, pared down type set, cut down on the number of cards total. And then the idea was, well, we'll cut back on how many we stick in packs too. And so, you cut back on the number of cards, but you also lower the pack count. Do you really cut back on the number that you've produced other than the fact that some are short printed?
Right.
I mean, it's kind of like, It's negligible.
Well, none of the O-Pee-Chee cards are short printed because they did 132 card sheets. So, each card is printed in equal quantity. So, yeah, I don't think I know that like the year they did no, what was it? 89-90 they did like 330 cards. So they did like, I think there were double prints in that. They had to have some double prints in that, but I think those last 66 cards are double printed or something. I'm not sure. But anyways, that's 89-90. That's a topic for another podcast. But yeah, when it was 132, 264, 396, 528, you're getting an equal amount.
Well, and I don't know that anybody has ever confirmed, and there's no definitive proof that that's the case. I just know that that's speculation that's gone around for years. That
with the sheets?
That they cut print run.
No, I've heard that before too. I've heard that before too. And, I think it's easier to find 84, 85 O-Pee-Chee than 85, 86 O-Pee-Chee. Although I don't know if that's true or not. In my experience, I see those a little bit more in the US anyway. But that doesn't mean anything necessarily. But like the Topps set, there was also 33 stickers and 16 box bottom cards. So 85, 86 Topps, wax pack had 12 cards, 1 sticker, 1 stick of bubble gum, and 36 packs. O-Pee-Chee, 10 cards, 1 sticker, 1 stick bubble gum, box had 48 packs. By the way, none of the price guides listed how many cards came in a pack. I literally had to watch a YouTube video of some guy taking his sweet ass time opening a pack of cards and then tally how many he got in that pack. He's doing like a pack break of hoping to get a Lemieux rookie, of course. But yeah. So anyway, just kind of interesting. And then that was the year they started using the celebrating guy as their on their wrappers. The guy throwing his arms up in the air, celebrating a goal. I love that design. And they kept, every year they would do a different color from 85, 86, all the way to 90, 91. And in 91, 92, I felt like it got boring. But I liked those wrapper line art pictures enough to do a series of t-shirts based on them. So, I'm a fan. All right, so just a quick comparison. From the front, the cards pretty much look the same. I mean, if you have two side by side, you could tell the O-Pee-Chee is going to be maybe a hint, like maybe a little bit more yellow on the border. Unfortunately, this video doesn't show that as well. Also, the O-Pee-Chee cards might have a little bit more of like rough edges, as they were prone to have back then. But there's no logo on the front identifying it as Topps or O-Pee-Chee. So you always want to see the back of it. How many times you look in a case, is that a Topps or an O-Pee-Chee, right? Because you have no way of knowing until they started putting the logos on them, on the fronts of them. So the fronts look the same. The back, the first thing you'll notice is that the O-Pee-Chee card it's printed on brighter cardstock. And also there's the French text. So, that's pretty much the predominant difference between Topps and O-Pee-Chee, especially in the 80s. I mean, there are some variations on the fronts, which we'll get to. But, it was just, the O-Pee-Chee cards were printed on brighter stock and didn't have as nice of edges. All right.
I like how the back of the Gretzky card says purchased from Indianapolis.
Oh yeah, we're going to talk more about that. We're going to actually come back to take a deeper dive on that. But yeah, purchased from Indianapolis. That's not wrong. So looking at the card fronts, this is a design that I like. I don't know. I kind of like just that kind of that circle or half circle or whatever in the corner. And it varies from which corner they put it in. Because when you put a logo in the corner, you're in trouble because it could say we've seen like with like Upper Deck cards, sometimes we look and go, they foil stamp that Upper Deck logo in the same corner no matter what. And sometimes it's a little too close to the player's head, or it never overlaps their face, but it just doesn't look good. You'll notice here that like the team logo is either in the upper left or upper right corner. But they did a good job of making it so that it's not like necessarily blocking the player's face, or like it's not in front of them, because with photography and film composition or whatever, there's something called the leading look, whereas like where you might be tempted to center somebody's head if they're looking straight. If they're looking to the side, you want to put a little more space in front of their face. That's called the leading look, right? So you got to accommodate for that. So like in this example, we're like looking at the Chelios card, and so he's got some space in front of his face so it doesn't feel like boxed in. Now, if that logo was on the other side, or if he was flipped and facing the other way, it would feel claustrophobic. Whereas the Kelly Rudy card that we're looking at here, if you're not watching the video, listening to podcast, but you probably know the card I'm talking about because it's like a close-up and he's looking up, but it doesn't look awkward. You know what I mean? So I don't know how you feel about this design, but I like it. I think it's simple, especially when you take a step back from 84, 85, and maybe it's boring. It's not as good as 84, 85. I don't think anything will ever be except 71, 72, but I think this is a decent design.
Oh, it's simple and it's basic. The previous year, the way it was set up with the inset photo and everything else, that was cool.
Diagonal text at the bottom, yeah.
That was cool and all, but this, as simple as it is, your first look at this, you're like, wow, this is really boring design. But then as you go through, you're like, actually, I kind of like it. It works.
Yeah.
And as we know now, based off of that set, it's kind of an iconic set of that era. So
yeah. So and then at the bottom they have the player name and their position, and I like it. It's a simple design, but it's not bad. It like I said, it's not as exciting as some other designs, but just because it's not as exciting doesn't mean it's necessarily bad. It's definitely like like pared down, as you said. I think you said.
What I find interesting is it's another one of those sets where the photography is pretty decent, but most of the photos are dark.
Yeah, and
you
not
get a lot
action.
of that dark photo, and there's not the still images. A lot of it is players just kind of standing around and that kind of thing. I think they took their time making sure they got profile pictures of everybody so you could actually see them.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of that the standing around look.
Yeah.
Which is fine, but at the same time, it's just they're dark. That's the only way I can describe them. It's like dark photos. Like every picture was taken in Philly or in Washington, where the background's all dark.
They used to do a lot in Boston and New Jersey. Because a lot of the Devils are in white uniforms, and some of the Bruins are in white uniforms, and some of the Islanders are in white uniforms.
It's like all those years, every card you'd see the picture, and it was always whoever it was against the Capitals. It's
like,
every picture in Washington.
Well, because usually Topps would work with like the same photographers, so they would just tend to, get their pictures from them, and they would tend to go to the same games. So, yeah. Anyway, seems to be a lot of photos taken in Boston Gardens and wherever the Devils played. I think that was Brendan Byrne Arena, and then Nassau Coliseum where the Islanders played. The card backs, yeah. So I want to talk more about this because I like that. Acquired, purchased from Indianapolis. So these, okay. I know that I say a lot of card companies. It's really Upper Deck these days for hockey. They don't do complete stats. Okay, I get it. Maybe they never will. Maybe nobody wants the complete stats. You and I do, of course. But I liked the things I liked from Topps and O-Pee-Chee was the birthplace, sometimes like where they live. Let's see, the home. Like this even says that Gretzky lives in Brantford, right? Birth date, birthplace, where they, make their residence, last amateur club, how acquired, right? I like that last amateur club. I like knowing that the guy's last amateur club was the 84 Olympic team or the junior team or whatever, right? Or in Gretzky's case, he's with the Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds, right? So, and then of course the acquired. I like that. Like, how did he end up on this team? And I like that they'd say, I mean, the old Topps cards would usually just say amateur draft. And then later on, they'd say like first round, 1983 draft, first round, 8th overall or whatever. And so I kind of miss that. I like that bit of information because it felt like it filled in a lot of gaps. Like, how did this guy get here? What did he do before he played in the NHL? So, and then of course the complete stats.
Was this the first year that they started putting the WHA stats on there?
No, they separated 79-80. They just did career totals.
Right.
And it combined the NHL and the WHA, which is weird if you think about it. Because that's the only time really those two things have been combined in any sort of printed material. That wasn't just somebody saying, well, if you combine Gretzky's goals from this and that, you know what I mean? So, no, 80-81.
Previous years did it or not.
Previous years, yeah, 80-81, they'd have they have them separated.
Because like on here, 78-79, he played for Edmonton. 79-80, he played for the Oilers.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Edmonton is the Oilers, but to separate it, they change it.
Yeah.
So it's different.
Yeah, I think they could have put, Oilers parentheses WHA and Racers parentheses WHA to just denote that, talking about the WHA teams. But they usually did that with the minors. Like if a player played in the, like I know on like some Blackhawk cards, it would say like New Brunswick because they played for the New Brunswick Blackhawks. So that would just be their way of saying like they're, and it would say like minor league. Like Gretzky says WHA and NHL record. And sometimes if a guy was like scant on statistics, they would also list sometimes like a minor league stats. So anyway.
Yeah. And even though
cards here.
Even though it was abolished in 1865, somehow, some way, we have the purchase of a person. So I didn't know you could buy people, but here we are.
Well, Gretzky was sold again to the Kings.
He's been sold multiple times.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's the anniversary of Gretzky getting traded to the St. Louis Blues in '96. And he had a funny quote, which I'm paraphrasing here, but he said he just follows the Rams because you had the LA Rams, or you had the Rams went to LA. So
then St. Louis and then back.
And then to St. Louis, yeah. So I thought that was kind of funny. But
actually, I believe the quote went, "Please don't trade me to St. Louis." I think that's how the quote was.
Well, I think he had a little bit of say in where he was going to go, but I don't know how that worked out. Well, I mean, I know how it worked out in St. Louis. Everybody says, "Oh, if Grant Fuhr didn't get hurt, they would have won, and that they would have won the cup." But I don't know, man. Colorado and Detroit, pretty wicked teams that year.
Yeah, and even that brief moment where there were some cards out there with him in a Blues uniform, they just look so weird.
Yeah, I agree. All right, so I want to talk about some of the best rookie cards. So the first bunch of rookie cards we're going to just talk about are ones that are found in both the Topps and the O-Pee-Chee set. And then we'll talk about some of the rookie cards that are only found in the O-Pee-Chee set. So, I mean, we could do a whole podcast about just the Mario Lemieux rookie card because to say it is the best card in the set is an understatement. I mean, I would think after the Gretzky rookie in 79, if you were going to go from 79-80 to 88-89, say the Gretzky rookie is first, the Lemieux rookie is second, and the Waugh rookie is third. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, it's arguably a top 10 hockey card of all time, I would say.
Of all time, yes.
Yeah.
And that's going back 100 years, going, forward and backwards.
Just because of its impact overall, the player himself, the career he had, the impact on the game, and just the legacy of that card in the hobby, it's got to be top 10.
Yeah. But, I mean, this card is obviously the most valuable card in the set. As far as I think it'd be second only to Gretzky in the decade. And I mean, if you were going to go like hockey cards of all time, maybe not the second overall card, but like you said,
it's certainly the best, and it's certainly the second best in the decade, for sure.
I mean, you had Gretzky in 79, you had Messier and Bourque in 80.
Yeah, they're still not as impactful as this one.
Well, no. But I'm just saying, and then you could even say Yzerman in 84-85, right? That's a top card, but nowhere near as impactful as this one. So
let me see if this works here. Oh, it did. Look at that.
What'd you do? How'd you do that?
I pulled that right out of the screen.
And to a top loader. Wow. That's
into a magnet holder. Oh, that's cool. So you should try that at home. If you're watching this, try that too. See if you can pull that right off the screen.
Yeah. Let me try that. I'm gonna try that. Hang on. Let me see if I can do that.
This is one of
look at that. Oh yeah. And
there you go.
And it's an O-Pee-Chee.
Yeah, mine's not.
Yeah.
I'm poor.
Yeah.
But I do have 4 Topps Mario Lemieux rookie cards. None of them are in that great shape. This is probably, if I were to put a grade on that, I'd probably say it's a 5. It looks nice though.
Can you show that again? Oh yeah, that does look nice. How many you said you got? I don't know how many, because I've sold a couple over the past couple of years, like at shows and stuff, because I think at one time between Topps and O-Pee-Chee, I had like 10 Lemieux rookie cards. Because it was always a card that I would find and it would be affordable. Like, I say affordable, I mean like sub 100 or less. Like early 90s, it was an expensive card. It's still an expensive card. But I mean, obviously sports cards had kind of a slump prior to the pandemic. So, it'd be kind of a card that I would find for like $50, $60, like under $100. And I would just buy it because I'd say, oh, this used to be a $300 card. Well, now it's rebounded and the Topps card is worth more than what I paid for it. And the O-Pee-Chee card, I mean, I think I sold one for like $550 a couple of years ago. $550 raw, not graded.
Right. And if I can find them fairly cheap, I'd pick them up. But I have 4. I have one in my set, one in my Penguins binder, one in my Mario Lemieux binder, and then I have this one in a case that I have on display, usually sitting right up here.
So one in your Penguins binder, one in your set, one in your Lemieux binder, and then one on display.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they're all Topps, so
that's okay. Yeah, I mean, I have mostly Topps Lemieux rookie cards. I mean, I do have a complete O-Pee-Chee set, and then I have one additional. Actually, yeah, I think I just have one because I think I sold the other one. I don't know. I haven't done an inventory in a while. It's not a card that I'm necessarily looking to, sell every time I do a show. But
the O-Pee-Chee is certainly on my radar and has been for many, many years, but I've just never, you know how I am.
Yeah.
I can't roll the dice on something of that nature. I like mortgage payments and being on time with them.
Well, you have responsibilities and you're a responsible adult, you know. I mean, I have a buddy who backed out of buying 2 Metallica tickets for their show at the Sphere in Las Vegas because once he got in and saw that like the tickets were going to cost him either $1,400 or $1,900. Now that would be for 2 shows. You had to go, you were committed to both shows. But then he's thinking, okay, I don't want to spend this much money on a concert that I have to commute and get a hotel for. You know what I mean? I don't know what he thought it was going to be, but you know, obviously,
especially these days in Vegas, because everything's got a price now.
Yeah,
it's not really cheap anymore like it was back when I lived out there.
No,
but everything's got a resort fee and a tax and a this fee and a that fee. It's crazy.
I love the amusement fee. Like, what is that?
Too.
Like, you're having fun. We're going to tax that too. Like, what?
Yeah. Yep.
You know?
It's crazy out there.
Yeah. So, some of the other rookie cards. Okay, so Mario Lemieux. And then, of course, I got to talk about Eddie Olczyk having his rookie card in the 85-86 Topps and O-Pee-Chee sets because, you know, though he was an average NHL player, he was an Olympian in the 84 team. He was 16. He turned 17 when he played in the 84 Olympics. He was drafted by the Blackhawks 3rd overall. I mean, he carved out a respectable NHL career. He was on the Rangers in 94 when they won the Cup. He ended up coaching the Penguins. Was he the coach of the tank for Sid years?
Olczyk?
Yeah.
He was the head coach from, I want to say he got hired at the end of the 02-03 season.
Okay.
And he was there until, I want to say he got fired in December of 05.
Okay. So halfway through Crosby's rookie year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he was supposed to come in. He was a voice for the younger guys.
Mm-hmm.
And they were a very younger team. Like those early 2000s X generation teams of the Penguins, they were fun to watch, but man, did they stink.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, he was going to build that new foundation of the team, right? And it just didn't really work out. I think they were like 8-17 when he got fired that year.
Yeah, but they had a losing season the year before.
Yeah, his previous season was the lockout, and the year before that, they had losing seasons for a few years for that. I mean, that's how all of those years led up to them getting, you know, they got Fleury, later on they got Malkin, they got Crosby. I mean, they were able to stack the team with a lot of young talent.
Okay, so to fire the coach because it's like, okay, we had like 4 losing years in a row or 3 losing seasons in a row, and now we expect you to magically turn it around, you know.
Yeah, I think his record there for the team is like 31-64.
But what I'm saying is that they were losing and getting high picks, so he was supposed to lose. Kind of. And then they thought, thought when they got Crosby, they would magically start winning.
Yeah, well.
That's not really fair.
No. I mean, Crosby's first year, they still stunk. But
yeah, I mean, you know, and so anyway.
After that, it's a different story, but, you know.
But we can all agree that Eddie Olczyk is an awesome color commentary for hockey.
He's decent.
I like him.
I liked him more in the let's see. Was it NBC? Was he with NBC?
Yes, he was.
Yeah. I liked it better then than now with TNT.
But it's usually him and Kenny Albert and Brian Boucher between the benches.
Yeah, it's a good team.
Yeah. And they did the Olympics together.
They did.
So I don't know, like, what's different about. I'm glad he went to TNT and not ESPN.
Oh yeah, I'm happy where he is. I don't know. I mean, he had his bout with cancer and all of that kind of stuff. He's a little different now than he was then. But he's still a good announcer, and he's got a ton of very focused real life experience that he can talk about because he understands the game from a player and a coach. So he brings that insight, which is good.
Yeah. So there are also rookie cards of Kelly Rudy and Thomas Sandstrom. And, both, I mean, Rudy played a long time in the NHL, and so did Sandstrom.
Tomas Sandstrom looks so young in that picture. It's crazy.
I know, so small. And it's weird to see, like the jersey say New York across the front and not Rangers. At least it is to me, but I don't know if they changed that or if they maybe they say New York on the home jerseys and Rangers on the road jerseys. I don't know, or if they changed it up every few years. But yeah, looking at that, he looks young. He looks like you can tell how small the equipment is too. And Kelly Rudy without a bandana just seems off. And probably know him best as a Kings player, but he was with the Islanders when he started his career. So,
see, the Rudy picture looks like he's on the bench because you kind of see people in the crowd behind him.
Yeah, and he's kind of looking up at the scoreboard or something. Right. Yeah.
The Sandstrom one almost looks like there's no one in the crowd, like it's at practice or something.
Yeah, with the unbuckled chin strap.
Yeah.
Yeah. I once traded a whole pack of cards for that Thomas Sandstrom rookie card, a whole pack of 89 baseball cards for the princely sum of 50 cents.
That's an even trade.
I think so. Yeah. Well, back then, I don't know. It was like, I couldn't really find these cards. So when the kid had older hockey cards, it was just like, well, I didn't know where I was going to find 85, 86. I mean, I had gone to a few card shops, and if they didn't have them, you didn't have them, there was, I mean, how would you get this card before eBay? It'd be mail order, but you probably wouldn't even know about that at 14, 15, actually that's not true. I started doing mail order back then, but it was more for complete sets. If you were trying to find singles, it was a lot of work.
Yeah, I was aware of mail order as an option because it was in the Beckett's and the Tough Stuffs, but I never partook. If I didn't find it at a show or at my local card shop, then if it didn't come out of a pack, I didn't get it.
Right. So it was just well, I'm never going to see this card again. So here, I'll trade you this whole pack of cards for it. And no regrets. A couple other top rookies in the set, Kirk Muller and Kevin Dineen, both had, excellent careers. Muller with the Devils, Dineen with the Whalers. And then Peter Zezel, he played in the NHL a long time. Also, he was in the original Youngblood, played Rossini. So I had to bring him up anyway because, it just kind of ties in.
I knew that's why you included that.
Well, Peter Zezel, I mean, he had a long career, 15 years or so, 17 years. I mean, and then Doug Bodger also, I think he played until 2000. So, so wanted to point out their rookie cards. And, there's a couple other rookie cards that, there's Bruce Driver has a rookie card and Mario Gosselin has a rookie card, but, Gosselin was the Nordiques' #1 goalie for a while. Driver played in the NHL almost as long as Bodger. I think he played until 99, and he won a cup with the Devils in 95. So, I mean, there's a lot of respectable NHLers in the top set who have rookie cards. But, I mean, Lemieux is obviously the best of the bunch. And then everybody else is just like, oh, yeah, he played in the NHL a long time. It's kind of a cool card. I mean, if you're an Islanders fan, a goalie fan, a Kelly Rudy fan, even a Kings fan, because, he was such an important player on the Kings in the 90s, then that's like a card that you'd want. But none of these are going to break the bank.
No, from a rookie card standpoint, too. I mean, Lemieux's the card. It's the only Hall of Fame rookie card in the top set.
Yes. Yeah. And then as far as the O-Pee-Chee set goes, so it has Al McInnes. Talk about a bench shot. Like, he's in the Hall of Fame, and his rookie card only appears in the O-Pee-Chee set. And not a super exciting rookie card, just kind of serviceable. It's like a headshot. His mouth is open. He'd probably like a mulligan on that one if he could have a do-over on a rookie card photo. L.I. Afraidy, another guy with a booming slap shot. So we got two L's with killer slap shots. Gotta love that funky helmet, though. That like Jofa that he's wearing. It just looks weird. Like, to me, the Cooper helmet in the 80s was like the right helmet. And then eventually the CCM helmets were also kind of right. But I think actually Cooper or CCM, to me, were like right. And if you wore something else, it would just seem weird.
Yeah. Funny, though, you say it looks weird, but it's actually his helmet. It's not like an airbrushed, jacked up one.
No, the blue is a little off, but that's fine. Or probably not. It's a little shiny for Maple Leafs, but doesn't matter. So,
see, I wasn't as familiar with Iafrate in the earlier days.
Mm-hmm.
I'm more of a Al Iafrate with the sweet mullet.
Yeah.
And this one, I don't think he has one in it, but if he does, it's tucked up underneath it.
No, I think technically it was a skullet because he was balding in the back, but he had long hair. He still had long hair that came down to his shoulders. And that was like back like in the day when he was like the Capitals or the Bruins, and he was firing off like 102 mile an hour slap shots at like the skills competition.
Yeah. Guy had hardest shot for the longest time. I think he blasted it like 105 miles an hour or something. And that wasn't broken until many years later. By
what, Chara, I think.
I think Chara did, yeah.
Yeah, of course, Chara's like almost 7 feet tall, so he's got mass to put into that. And McInnes had, of course, was known for a slap shot.
2 Al's, 2 slap shots.
Yeah. And then a couple other rookie cards. Again, there's like guys that you look and see they got rookie cards in the set, and you'd be like, oh, yeah, they were good. But like as far as players that were notable, well, Brian Hayward, notable, mainly with the Canadiens. Like he and Patrick Waugh were like a really great goaltending tandem. I mean, when they won the Jennings Trophy, I think 2 times. I know at least one time.
I thought it was 3 in a row.
I thought it was 3 in a row too, honestly.
Yeah, it was like 86, 87, 87, 88, and 88, 89. It was the 2 of them. And 90% of the games were played by Patrick Waugh.
No, it wasn't quite that. I don't know if it was that much of a split. I mean, you can look it up and correct me, but
it wasn't that extreme, but
no, it wasn't like it wasn't like playing behind Martin Brodeur where he'd play 72 games and Scott Clemenson would play like 10 if he was lucky,
I think Hayward would get into that like 35, 40 games a year.
Well, that was kind of like when your starter would do like maybe 45 to 50 games and your backup would maybe do like 35 games. And then also the starter would maybe get the more challenging assignments, and the backup would usually either get like the easier games or the second on a back-to-back or like the day after Christmas or something. You know what I mean? Like like, I don't want to say like the less desirable matchups, but maybe the easier matchups, I guess.
Yeah, here you go. 86, 87, he had 37 games, followed by 39 and then 36.
So what did he play in 89, 90? How many
89,
games?
90, 29.
And then what did he play in 90, 91? That was the year he was traded.
Yeah, for the North Stars, 26.
But what did he play for the Canadians that year before he was traded?
In 90, 91?
Yeah.
I got no record of him playing for the Canadians in 90, 91.
Oh, okay. So click on trades. And when was he traded? I'm hoping you're looking at Hockey DB because it has show trades.
Yeah, this doesn't say.
Well, I'll explain why. If we could get to his stats. Because
just links to the article where he was suspended.
What was he suspended for?
Walking out of a press conference.
With what team?
With Montreal.
Okay.
He didn't show up the morning skate.
Okay. So 89-90. Oh, yeah. So he was traded in November of 90. So that would have been 90-91 season. So yeah. So the thing was that I think he was unhappy with the amount of playing time he was getting. Yeah. So they traded him to the North Stars. And the reason why I bring that up is because I get it that Patrick Waugh was the guy, but they had a really good goaltending tandem, and you want to try to keep both of your players happy. Like I think, but look, it worked out for Montreal. So whatever they did, it worked out for them because they won the cup a couple of years later. But like as a kid, I thought, wait, these guys keep winning Jennings trophies together. They're a good team. They work well together. Try to keep them both. Try to keep them both. But they traded him, and then he went to the Stars. Yeah. Then he went to the Sharks, and he had that really sweet mask. One of the best masks of the 90s. It had the shark teeth on it.
Yeah, so apparently I can't read. I said he walked out of a press conference. No, it says he walked out to press his demand to either play more or be traded.
There you go. And that's what they did. They traded him. But here's the thing.
He got into it with Pat Burns, and basically he's like, look, you're going to split time. Patrick's going to start against Hartford. You'll start Friday against the Rangers. He said that's not good enough, and he walked out. And then he didn't show up to practice. So that was it. But he got traded.
So maybe he had an injury because he didn't log any games with Montreal in 90-91 from the start of the season in early October to November.
Well, this article came out in the LA Times on October 8th of 1990. So I would think
they probably okay.
Yeah, that was probably right as the season was started, or maybe right before.
Okay, so they probably just benched him until.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Yeah. I mean, obviously, I don't know. It's tough for goalies. I mean, I think the thing is that like if you have two goalies that are doing great for your team, you want to try to keep them both. But, if you have a guy like Patrick Waugh, you're probably going to end up playing him 90% of the time anyway. So who knows?
I just remember Brian Hayward more for like, I feel like he was doing like either color commentary or he was doing like bench interviews and stuff like that for various broadcasts.
Yeah, but he's with the Ducks.
He was. But I think I could have sworn he did like the World Cup and like the Winter Olympics and maybe it was 06.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then George McPhee, although maybe not noticeable as a player, or notable as a player, notable as a hockey executive. This was one of your suggestions to include.
Yeah, for all those many listeners of our show that collect cards of GMs and stuff like that. I'm sure there's none, but I'm just saying. I just thought it's interesting to see George McPhee on a card because most people, I don't most younger people that are aware of George McPhee, younger fans that know of him as an executive and know of him as, being GM and hockey operations type positions, I don't think they realize he played.
Mm-hmm.
And it's always fun to see cards of guys like that had a hockey career as a player that you just don't make that connection because it was either prior to you watching or before you were born or, in an era where they just got lost in the crowd. You're like, oh yeah, I remember George McPhee. Oh wait, that's that George McPhee.
Well, I think it's fun with guys who had like very bit NHL careers that you did, that kind of, like you said, flew under the radar. Like, I mean, Doug Wilson's in this set. And of course, we remember Doug Wilson as the GM of the Sharks, and Bob Murray was the GM of the Ducks, right? So there's like longtime NHLers who end up as GMs. But when you have a guy who wasn't, around for 15 years in the NHL, and then, you go, oh, wow, they had a hockey card. That's interesting. So.
Yeah, and he's long known as being with the Capitals I think he joined the Capitals in like 97, and then he had a brief stint with the Islanders, and then of course he was the architect of Vegas fleecing everybody in the league with all of their draft picks during the expansion draft back in the day. Everybody screamed fraud, and it was like, no, he's just good at what he does.
He followed the rules that were laid out in front of him.
Exactly.
People said, I will give you this guy and a draft pick if you don't take this guy from us. And he said, okay.
I mean, you couldn't. This is the guy that, in order to create the Capitals the way they became before drafting Ovechkin, he basically fire sailed the entire team.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they had Yager, Peter Bondra, Michael Nylander, Robert Lang, Sergei Gonchar. Wow. I mean, they had all those guys, and he dumped them all leading up to that draft.
Tank for Ovi.
Where they picked Ovechkin.
Yeah. Yeah. So, okay. So, obviously, great NHL GM. We're going to go from great to awful. Got an awful airbrush alert because we got 4 airbrushed cards that I want to highlight from this set, because you can't not talk about an 80s hockey card set and not at least talk about a few of the cards that got recolored, repainted to make the player look like he was with his new team. So first up, we got a couple of goalies, Dan Bouchard, who is traded to the Winnipeg Jets, and Bob Sauve. I think he signed as a free agent with the Blackhawks. I'm really struggling with which one of these is worse. I feel like the Sauve is bad. Like, the expression on his face is just kind of creepy. But
yeah, but everybody looked like that back then.
Yeah, I mean, he's kind of got like the poofy hair and the mustache, and he doesn't look, I don't know, like that Blackhawk logo is terrible.
Yeah,
like,
the airbrush logo is bad, but the Dan Bouchard, like, he's completely drawn. Like, that's drawn.
That looks like a kid drew that, or
he's
like
a cartoon character.
Looks like a coloring book page.
Yeah, it's a collector's choice draw your own card.
Yeah. I mean, it should be hanging in a museum somewhere.
A bad museum.
Yeah, it's,
That's got to go on the bad hockey card list.
Yeah, it's like if the Scream by Edvard Munch was a hockey card, it could be this. Yeah, I think that Dan Bouchard needs to be in the bad hockey card Hall of Fame. I feel like there's a lot of cards from this. Well, maybe not this year so much, but definitely 86, 87. There's a lot. Yeah, I feel like this one's a contender. Definitely. Maybe it'll be in the class of 2026. The more I look at it, the more I go, how did this card escape my attention for so long? Like, I was aware of it. Like, if I saw this card, I would just be like, oh yeah, I have that card. I have the whole set.
like not only is it completely like drawn, right? He's like squished down on the card.
Yep.
Like he's lower. You got Elvis Costello sitting behind him in the front row, or at least that's who that looks like.
Or half of them anyway.
Like this is just bad.
Yeah. And it's funny because like the way they tried to add some texture to the logo just looks weird. And and it's funny because this is one of those times where they didn't go the extra mile with like, oh, let's give them some sleeve numbers. Let's make them number 0. That'll be nice. Like I don't know. Yeah, it's this is up there at that 89.90 Randy Cunneyworth. The Sauve, I mean, that logo's bad. It's not as bad as the and you can look this up. This is a bad hockey card Hall of Fame. 86, 87, there's a Gary Nyland card, and it's got a Blackhawk logo painted on his jersey, and it's just bad. Like, I don't know why they didn't just like literally take a Blackhawk logo from a photo and just cut it out with scissors and then just glue it on. I mean, that's before Photoshop. That's how I actually did photo montage. I remember taking a photography class. Well, even before taking photography, I remember our art teacher would just give us a stack of magazines and say, find a bunch of photos, cut them out, and montage them. You know what I mean? Try to make something look real that's not real. You know what I mean? And I guess now we do that with AI, but back then you would do that with a bunch of magazines. And then when you took photography, you would take a bunch of photos, make prints, cut them out, glue them together, and then take a photo of the photo and then print that from the negatives, right? Which was a lot of work. But I guess the thing is that the idea of glue and scissors has existed for hundreds of years. And yet they're like, no, we're just going to paint it.
Yeah. Badly.
We're just going to paint it. This is like if you wanted to go to like an auto body shop to get like a decal put on your card and you go, or your car, and you go, you know what? Nah, I'm just going to paint it myself. I'm just going to paint that logo myself. Yeah.
How hard could it be?
Yeah. So yeah, this is bad. These are bad. And then poor Harold Snep's got traded a lot. I feel like every other card of him in the 80s, he's like airbrushed into a new uniform. This one is bad because that Red Wings logo is just like, well, first of all, a logo is embroidered. So it's not going to be that wavy and wrinkly. It's not like if you're wearing a t-shirt and your t-shirt is wrinkled, because it's rumpled because maybe you're leaning forward or crouching forward, and the logo is going to contort with the t-shirt. It's almost like the logo doesn't do that because it's stiff, So this just looks bad, like he's wearing.
But even if it was a practice jersey, right?
Right.
It would still wouldn't be that bad. And also, if you kind of look at it, there's a shadowing. It would be on his left, like going towards his left armpit.
Yep.
But the shadowing has no effect on the logo whatsoever.
Right.
It's like over top of it, and it doesn't do anything. Like the shadow is obviously a contour, like a bend in the jersey, and it doesn't bend the logo. It's just stupid.
Yeah, it's not a good card. And yeah, he got, like I said, he got traded. I feel like he has like 3 cards that decade that are airbrushed. I know he has one that put him in a North Stars jersey, because that's one I always look into for bad Hall of Fame that think about. And then I want to say, I know he's with the Canucks. I don't know. Anyway, so Snaps, that one is pretty awful. And then that Don Lever card, future Chicago Wolves coach, I might add. But that just looks like again, they weren't trying. And, they had the room to add some. I feel like the Sabres, maybe that's a little high for the sleeve numbers, but I feel like this one is underdone. Like they could have added a little more detail to it. There's so much blue there. And the helmet, I mean, okay, they don't want to paint a CCM logo. I get it. But I don't know. He was on the Devils last season. They should have just found a photo of him in a white. I don't know, because the Devils have the red on the shoulders. I don't know. It's bad.
And don't forget, he's fully dressed in his outfit from the Tron Christmas special. So
a very Tron Christmas.
Yeah, he's got his Tron helmet on.
Yeah. Yeah. Anytime you painted a hockey guy, they always look like they're in Tron, just because the highlights just look too high. You know what I mean? Like they're like, oh, let's put a little reflection off of his helmet, but it doesn't look like a reflection. It looks like an electrical pulse, like Tron had going on his helmet. So,
yeah, I don't necessarily think he's carrying a hockey stick as much as he's got the little stick to turn his bike on.
Or the frisbee.
Or the frisbee, yeah.
Yes, the deadly disc. All right, a couple cards I want to talk about as we wind this episode down, because I mean, there's a ton of cards. I could probably find something to say about every single card. If given that challenge, I would do it. But to not make this a 9-hour episode, I wanted to just highlight some of the other cards of note. The first one is kind of sad, and it's the Pelle Lindbergh card. Because when the Topps card came out, I mean, this would have been produced in the late summer. They knew that he was going to be on the Flyers, and so it's just a card of Pelle Lindbergh. But the O-Pee-Chee version added a black stripe at the bottom with the years 1959 to 1985, because he died in a car crash that before the season started, or early in the season, I think. And so this is one of the few times, it's happened a couple of times over the years, I've actually looked into this, but where a hockey card company has flagged the fact that a player had passed away and made some sort of acknowledgement of that on his card.
Yeah, that was a shame, because he had the potential to be a really good goaltender.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he had all the talent, and just it's unfortunate. I mean, it's the tale as old as time, right? You party too much, you drink too much, you jump in your car, and that's what happens. So
yeah. And he played 8 games that season.
Yeah, because the accident happened in November
that
year, so the season had already started, and I guess they had a team party or something going on at like the Coliseum, and had a few too many pops, jumped in his fancy sports car, and didn't make it. So
yeah, that's tragic. So it's nice that O-Pee-Chee, I mean, the back of the card doesn't say anything. They never really varied the text on the back of the card. Even like a lot of times when they would airbrush a player on the front of the card, they didn't update the text on the back of the card to reflect that trade. So that's kind of, I don't want to say silly. I mean, I'm going to look at this Bob Sauvé card here. Oh, signed it. Nope. The Bob Sauvé card still says that he, signed as a free agent in 1982. So they're referring to his time with the Red Wings, with the Sabres. And the Harold Snep's card says signs as a free agent 85. So yeah, so they did actually, sometimes they did update the text. But with this one, they didn't on the back. They just added that note on the front. So I think that was a nice touch.
I know you're a book guy. Did you ever read his biography?
No. Did
I
you?
haven't either. I heard it was pretty good, but it was originally written in Swedish, but it was translated like years later.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I
could barely read English, let alone Swedish. So
a couple, like a little over a year ago, I read Mike Keenan's autobiography, and he talked about this. You know, he talked about having to, like, he was the one who called Pelle's parents in Sweden to tell them the news, and then, you know, they kept him on life support long enough for his parents to come to Philadelphia and say goodbye. And you know, I mean, also, like, I you know, we obviously we have very strong feelings about Mike Keenan, but you know, the thing was, is before he was a hockey coach, he was a teacher, and he taught college, so he was you know, I don't know. I don't say good with younger people. I don't think he was necessarily a people person, but he still had that, like, teacher mentality, for better or for worse. And, you know, he kind of had to, like, you know, that's just gotta be a terrible time, you know, to be, well, of course, for anybody, but, you know, it breaks up that breaks up a team, but it's just tragic. It's horrible for the team. And then when you're the coach, like, what do you say to your players, you know, and just trying to say the right things and have the tools to help them cope, you know? So it was, I can't remember exactly what he said in that, but I remember reading that and just being like, wow, that's harsh, you know?
Yeah, I can't imagine.
A couple other cards that I want to highlight are the Bob Mano card. So card number 134, Bob Mano. It's in a top set, but the O-Pee-Chee version added free agent now playing with team in Italy. So very specific and very wordy explanation. They could have just put now playing in Italy, right? We would assume that he is on a hockey team in Italy and that he's playing in Italy. You know what I mean? Like, now, you know, now playing with team in Italy. Free agent now, right? Yeah. Very, like, specific little blurb on the front that wasn't on the Topps version, because O-Pee-Chee always had to update their cards when they could, because they usually came out in, like, January. And, you know, he actually ended up playing for the 92 Italian Olympic team. Just think that's a fun little tidbit, because I remember watching the 92 Olympics, and I don't know if it was USA playing Italy or another team. I don't think USA played Italy that year. I can't remember, but I remember them just saying, oh, this guy used to play in the NHL, and, you know, and then he went to Italy, played in Italy, married somebody from Italy, and and I guess that qualified him to play for Team Italy. So, you know, I just thought it was kind of an interesting story. And then the John Garrett O-Pee-Chee card says now assistant general manager. But what's funny about that card is that not only did he not end up being the assistant GM, but, like, O-Pee-Chee would have known for like 9 months that he wasn't going to be the assistant GM, because he was going to retire. And the GM said, when you retire, I'm going to make you the assistant. But then that GM got fired, so Garrett never became the assistant, because that offer was then off the table. But they still put that text on his card. And what's funny about that is that his Wikipedia page actually said that he was an assistant GM with the Canucks. But according to the book Hockey Card Stories, he explained to Ken Reed that he never got that job. And also, like, if you just look into it for more than 5 seconds past Wikipedia, which I think they've since corrected that. But I think that's interesting that, like, it kind of led to, like a hockey card kind of led to this misinformation just being out there, because people said, oh, it must be true, it's on a hockey card.
And now they say, well, it must be true, it's on Wikipedia.
Yeah. Citation, 85-86 O-Pee-Chee card, which, you know, card companies never got it wrong, did they? Nah. They were always... Nope. Got a couple more cards. First is the Dennis Huron card, because it's like one of the few action photos in this set. Because, like you said, most of them are like photos of the players standing. Maybe I don't mind the head and shoulder shots so much. I kind of like those. But, like, yeah, a lot of them are just kind of like, they're standing. They're looking. Just kind of standing there in warm-ups or whatever. Or practice.
There's a lot going on in that card, though.
There's a lot to unpack here. There's a lot of different layers
Yeah,
right?
because you have him in goal. He's obviously like reaching out to either poke check something or bring the puck in or something. But then you have somebody else's stick kind of in front of him, sort of blurred out because it's in the foreground.
Right, it's out of focus.
Then you have another Penguin player skating behind the net, sort of. You see their legs sticking out.
But he's crouched down because you don't see his head.
Right. So he's either falling on the ground or something's happening. And you
Right.
got what looks to be Pat LaFontaine maybe taking a shoulder block in his rib cage from this guy falling to the ground. You can't really tell.
Yeah, maybe the Penguin player is hitting him in the ribs with his head.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like I said, there's a lot going on in that picture.
Although LaFontaine doesn't look to be in any distress. You see where he's looking off the frame, probably where the puck is at the end of Huron's stick. He's probably like trying to change direction.
He is, but if you look where his hands are positioned, his stick is up in the air.
Right, so he's turning. He's doing that thing where he was skating this way, and now he's turning to go the other way.
Yeah, that's why I think he's being hit by that Penguin player.
Well, either way, I think it's a cool card, even though, I mean, if this was on an upper deck card today, we'd be making fun of it for how bad it is. Because you're like, yo, you can't even see the goalie, the front of the goalie's face. You just see kind of like the back and side of his head. You know, like it could be anybody in that mask, right? And there's too much clutter and chaos, but clutter and chaos. I love it. That's like my apartment is clutter and chaos.
Dennis Huron, the back of his head. He might as well be Brian Pitton.
Yeah, might as well be Brian Pitton. But this isn't bad Hockey Card Hall of Fame worthy because it is action oriented and there's stuff going on, and I could at least appreciate that. This might have been the best photo they could find, but I don't hate it. I wish it was better, but I don't hate it.
It's a picture of an actual hockey game, not just standing around in between stuff. Like the next card.
Yeah, so the next card. So the Topps version of Warren Young's rookie card has him and as a Penguins player. It's got the Penguins logo in the top. Is the yellow stripe at the bottom with his name in Penguins colors. The O-Pee-Chee version, like numerous other cards in the O-Pee-Chee set, where they'd update it, where they would change the logo, they would change the color of the border at the bottom, and they would add some text explaining that this player was now on this other team. Now, as a kid, that always annoyed the heck out of me because I never knew, where do I put this with my Red Wings cards or my Penguins cards, right? Because it's kind of, actually, let me ask you, is this a Red Wings card or a Penguins card? Mr. Penguins Collector.
That's a Red Wings card.
So you would not put this card in your Penguins binder?
The O-Pee-Chee one, I would not.
But you would put the Topps one, of course, because it has a Penguins logo and a Penguins jersey.
Correct.
Okay, what if we flip-flopped it? What if the logo was Penguins, but the jersey was Red Wings?
Then that's a Penguins card.
So it has to do with the logo. The logo and not the laundry.
It has to do with what's the designation on the card itself.
Okay, got it.
Because when you see the checklist will have the designation of what's on the card itself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So even if it depicts the player in a different jersey, if it's the logo goes with it, it would be on the checklist as part of that team set.
Right. So this Terry Ruskowski card here, even though he's pictured as a king, you'd consider it Penguins because there's a Penguins logo.
That's a Penguin card.
Got it. Okay. Just making sure.
Mm-hmm.
So
them's the rules.
Them's the rules. I had to ask. Right. I had to ask. But what I find funny about this card is that he went to the Red Wings for a year because they were going to pay him more money because he had a 40-goal season. He had a 40-goal season because who was his line mate that year in 84-85?
I can't place the name.
Begins with an M and ends with an O.
Was it? I don't know. I can't think.
Yeah. So he was on the line with Mario Lemieux to protect Mario Lemieux. And they ended up playing pretty well together. And
Mario made everybody better.
Huh?
Mario, like Sid, made everybody he plays with better.
Yeah. So in 80 games, he had 40 goals and 32 assists for 72 points and 176 penalty minutes. So yeah, he was on that top line with Lemieux. And I think what it was that the Red Wings offered him more money, because they thought, okay, well, if you could do this with Lemieux, you could do this with Yzerman. So he goes to the Red Wings. In a year, he comes back to play with the Penguins. But by then, I guess it did, whatever was happening with him and Mario wasn't happening anymore by 86, 87. And it also led to a really awful airbrushed card where they took Warren Young in a Red Wings jersey and they just basically painted a Penguins jersey onto him. So, yeah, he's been in an awful card, but it was in the next season. This one's passable, but notable because he had a really good rookie season. And then he just kind of like sputtered out after that. But he had an awful hockey card in the next year's set.
Mixed in between there, he spent some time on the Skipjacks and then later the Lumberjacks too. I know that.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So
he took his goonery to Baltimore for a little bit.
Got a goon where they need gooning.
That's right.
So in the O-Pee-Chee version, there are 8 league leader cards of like top, scoring leaders, rookie scoring leaders, different goaltending leaders and such. As I always like to say with these cards, it was always like excuses to make more Gretzky cards. So this gives us another 3 Gretzky cards and another Lemieux card. So I, just want to point that out. This is, of course, absent in the Topps version of the set because even though 84, 85 had all-star cards, 85, 86, they didn't really do anything special. They just did, they did the stickers, which we'll talk about in a minute. But, yeah, so just worth noting that. And then the stickers. So you had 12 all-star stickers, and then you had 13 to 33. So you had 21 different teams. But then you had, what's it called? 7 of them had variations where either the logo was above and the numbers were below or vice versa. So I liked these stickers. In fact, I liked when they did the insert stickers. I didn't like it when Topps changed from the insert stickers to the team scoring leaders glossy cards. I know that was like the kind of thing that they did in their baseball and football sets, but there was just something cool about the fact that the hockey cards came with a sticker instead of like a glossy scoring leader, which, like I said, they ended up doing anyway. So I don't know.
The whole idea was you're supposed to take the stickers and stick them on your own gear.
Right.
And I know all the years that they did this, it's very difficult to tell the difference between most of the stickers because they more or less all look the same. Well, you have to flip them over and look at the backs and look at the design difference and check the dates.
Well, part of the thing is that there were a couple of years, I want to say 87, 88, and 88, 89. The logo stickers are the same. They have a 1987 copyright date because they printed those on a different sheet than the all-star stickers themselves. Like, why reinvent the wheel? And that's why they had to put an extra 7 stickers so that they could do the math to make it work out to how many needed to be on the sheet before they cut them apart. And same with the all-star stickers. They would be able to do an even amount. None of them were short printed when they would do like a sheet of 132. So anyway, all-star stickers, yay. I'm a fan. Box bottom cards, or as I like to say, the short prints of the 80s. Because if you think about it, you'd get 4 box bottom cards per box. You only get 6 Young Guns per box. So it tracks, right? It's the short print. It's the cards that you want, but, don't actually, well, I guess Young Guns are part of a set because they're part of that number. But yeah, so the box bottoms, the short prints of the 80s found on the bottoms of Topps and O-Pee-Chee boxes. So instead of like numbered 1, 2, 3, they have like A, B, C, D, E, F all the way through P, and features 16 of the top players. when we last did an episode about these sets in 2020, I didn't have any of the box bottom cards, and I re-listened to that episode so I wouldn't talk about the same, tell the same stories, even though I don't know if anybody remembers the episode from 6 years ago. But back then I said I didn't have any box bottom cards, and that was something I needed to rectify. Well, since then, I only have one panel of 4. I mean, it's got Gretzky on it, so it's a good panel to have, but they're just always too expensive, especially the Gretzky and especially Lemieux.
Yeah, and that's the thing with box bottoms is, you call them the short print of the 80s, but not only are they short print, but they're very hard to find in good shape.
Yeah.
Because it's the bottom of the box. They were thrown on a shelf. They were pushed around. They were slid around. They rub up against other boxes, It's not like these were all shrink wrap packages and stuff.
Mm-mm.
They only became shrink wrap when BBCE gets a hold of them. They didn't come that way. So these would get beat up. The corners would get dinged. They'd get smashed. So it's hard to find these in really decent shape, especially intact. A lot of times you'll find the individual cards and they're hand cut. So if somebody didn't take their time or use a cutter and just went with scissors and cut along the lines, I mean, they could be off center.
Guilty.
Or people, what ends up happening is you cut the bottom off. There's damage to the corners.
Mm-hmm.
So somebody will trim them and they'll trim the edges off to make them look sharper. Well, that makes the card a little undersized. So
right.
It's hard to get them in decent shape. And you brought up the fact I told the story about running into a Lemieux one for like $20 at one point in time. I mean, it was many, many years ago, but it was really faded to the point where the yellow was almost not even yellow anymore.
Right.
And I should have bought it anyway, but I didn't. And such is life. But yeah, these ones are tough. I mean, I've got later years ones that are easier to find, like from 88, 89, 90. Those you can find a little more often. But these older box bottoms, they're tough.
Yeah, no, I agree. And especially with a lot of good players on these cards. And then, like I said, especially like the Lemieux, kind of annoys me that of course people catch on, but I mean, there was a time where people would collect these more as a curiosity. And now it's like, oh, it's the box bottom and it's so hard to find. And so we're going to charge you a premium for it. Right. And I guess that's why I learned to live without a lot of these, just because, I mean, I guess now I could probably really just kind of hunker down and get them. Cause I know that 9091, which is super easy. I know I have all the Topps and all the O-Pee-Chee, and I have them as singles and as the 4 card panels. And 8990, I think I have all the singles and most of the panels. And then I think as you get further back, I have less and less of them. So, yeah, it's something I should probably focus on because there's not too much that I need from the 80s. Well, I don't really need any of this stuff, right? These are all wants and not needs. But as far as stuff that my collection is lacking, box bottoms are the big, gaping, glaring omission in my collection of Topps and O-Pee-Chee cards from the 80s. So I should get on that.
Yeah. And I mean, you'll find them, but they're not, like I said, it's hard to get them in good shape for a decent price.
Yeah, maybe I need to lower my standards a little bit because I kind of just want to have them. You know what I mean? And then if I want to upgrade, I can upgrade, but I kind of just want to have them. Like certain sets I have not in the greatest shape, but I have them and that makes me happy. Just having it on my shelf. And if I decide I want to look at them or whatever, or write about them or scan them or, for an article, I have them, right? I like having them. But then again, the other part of me is just well, if you buy it and it's in crummy shape, you're just going to buy it again. So why spend $5 on something that, when you'd rather just spend 20 and get it, in better shape. But I guess if it's like a more expensive card like the Lemieux, then yeah, I think just having it in any shape would be okay.
Yeah.
So
it certainly does carry a premium.
Oh yeah, like you said, the box bottoms just very condition sensitive. But any last thoughts about the 85-86 O-Pee-Chee Topps and O-Pee-Chee sets as we wrap this one up?
I mean, I think we covered most of it. I mean, it's depending on what your plan is to do, if you're going to collect the set, if you're going to build it yourself, good luck.
I would urge you to buy the top set.
Yeah, I mean, even if
just complete.
Yeah, you can buy a top set complete for fairly decent prices. You can find them out there with the Lemieux card included.
Yeah.
I would even encourage you to probably, I know it's horrible for me to say, but buy the O-Pee-Chee set without the Lemieux in it, because you'll find them out there without the Lemieux, and then try to find a Lemieux separate.
Right.
Because the Topps is difficult to put together because not a lot of people have the commons lying around. I still have like 35 cards or so to put together for this set, plus a bunch of the stickers to build it. And that's just Topps. I never even touch the O-Pee-Chee because I never really see them.
And I'm betting that the 33 or so that you need, or 35, are the short prints, or the single prints, I should say.
It might be.
Yeah, because when you bought, I remember you bought a box, like a vending box, or from a dealer. You bought like for $20 or so. You bought like a 400 count box, but it had a lot of the same cards. It's almost like
I ended up with a lot of dupes.
Yeah,
from that.
You ended up with like 100 cards for the set and a lot of doubles of those 100 cards.
Yeah,
because
I don't know off the top of my head which ones I need, but I know it's a healthy mix of about 30 cards or so.
Yeah.
Which is a lot when you only have a 160 card set.
Yeah, but most of those are pretty easy to find. The only ones you're really going to pay for are Gretzky and Lemieux. And, I mean, Yzerman's in there. And there's like certain cards, like Yzerman, I think, is like a $10 card. Maybe it's more now. You know what I mean? But his rookie card can be found for like, $30 or less, the Topps version anyway. So, I mean, it's not like his second year card is going to be worth more in most cases for most of these cards. I mean, you'll have probably some exceptions here and there in like, I don't know, the 30s or the 50s or something. But yeah, I mean, there wasn't much to collect back then. So, I mean, is this a must-have set? Yeah, I mean, if you're collecting the 80s, you need to have an 80s set. If you're American, you definitely want to have the top set. You probably want the O-Pee-Chee set as well. If you're Canadian and a snob, sorry, Canadians who are snobs, but if you're Canadian and a snob, you'd be like, well, I only want the O-Pee-Chee set because it's the superior set. But if you're a true collector, you'll also want the Topps set because there are differences between the Topps cards and the O-Pee-Chee cards. And that's something that I like, even if it's as stupid as just changing the logo or saying now playing on a team that happens to be located in Europe in the country of Italy. Right, or whatever like explanation they put. So I like those differences between the two, and I think that's what makes collecting fun. Like, we love variations as collectors. We love whether it's the single asterisk versus two asterisk, which we've talked about in other episodes. But I think that this is like, even though these are separate sets, they're kind of like variations of each other. And I think that's what makes it cool to have both of them. So that's why I always advocate, the O-Pee-Chee set has more cards. Yeah, the O-Pee-Chee set has the Al MacInnis rookie card, which the top set doesn't have. But I think they're both worth having in a collection. But then again, as we say, collect what you like. So if you don't like the Topps version, no problem.
And if you're putting sets together from the 80s, I mean, like you said, there's not a lot of hockey releases that were major releases. So Unless you're the type like you that collects all the minor leagues and the juniors and the food issues and the postcards and all that, and you're only looking for those major releases, that's all you got. You got Topps, you got O-Pee-Chee, and I mean, that's really it. Unless you, well, what else was there then that year? The O-Pee-Chee sticker album, maybe?
O-Pee-Chee sticker album. Yeah, it was before Panini stickers. It was before O-Pee-Chee leaders. It was before Kraft. They did a set in 86, 87.
Oh, you had the Cardophilium Hall of Fame set. There's that one.
Oh, yeah. That's right. They did that as cards in 85, even though they're copyrighted 83. They're 85, the trading card sized ones. Yeah. So, there wasn't a lot to collect back then.
Mm-mm. Kellogg's accordion discs, if you want to go after those.
Oh, dear God. Yeah. We'll have to revisit the oddball hockey card sets because that was a fun idea. And as we look at anniversaries, we'll have to think of something from 95, 96.
Oh, boy.
There's a ton that came out that year. That's when it just got so crazy. I mean, back then you could say, yeah, I collected all the hockey cards, right? There were 2 major releases. And then, like you said, maybe an oddball set here and there that were just so off the beaten path that maybe you didn't even know about them. But by 95, 96, you really had to pick and choose. So, you know.
We can do a whole show on Skybox Emotion.
We should do that. We should do that.
I found a couple of those cards the other day. I was like, oh, yeah, I forgot about these.
Yeah. They're pretty bad.
By bad, you mean good.
Well, I think this is a good spot to end the show. Do you agree?
I concur.
All right. Well, thank you for listening to the Puck Junk Hockey Podcast. As always, if you've enjoyed the show, please be sure to like and subscribe. Please check out the newsletter at puckjunk.com/newsletter and check out the shop at shop.puckjunk.com. And if you're in Chicago, I hope to see you at the Chicago Sports Spectacular the weekend of March 13th through 15th. I will be at booth number 40. And until next time, collect what you like.